My today's topic is why we should soak nuts, seeds, grains, and legumes, pulses, everything. Why we should soak all these things. So the very first thing that we need to understand, and I guess we realized it more in this pandemic situation, is what is, what is the basic goal, right? We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So what is the basic goal that we keep? I mean, we don't think about it, we don't talk about it, but what the basic goal we keep is to, live tomorrow. Okay, so we always look forward that we are going to live tomorrow, and then only we make the other plans. Similarly, these nuts, seeds, pulses, grains, legumes, all these things, the very first thing with these things is all these things have the potential to germinate and then grow into a plant or a tree, right? So the nature protects all these things. Now, when the nuts and seeds, all these are in their dry form, right? So when they are in this dry form, the nature wants to protect it, because when the nuts or seeds they hit the ground, or when they comes in contact with the water, then only germination process starts. But when it's in dry form, uh, to use, nature knows its potential, nature knows what it's gonna grow into, so it wants to protect it. Now, so to protect it, nature has its own mechanism. So most of the seeds and nuts, these all are covered with enzyme inhibitors. Now, what is enzyme inhibitors? As the name suggests, right? So when you eat the dried nuts, when you don't soak these nuts and seeds and you eat it, consume it, then the enzyme inhibitors gets into our system, and they binds with the minerals and vitamins in our body, and the key nutrients like magnesium, copper, iron, zinc. With these nutrients it binds, and when it binds with these, so the absorption doesn't take place, and then it slows down and disturbs the lot many things. Another thing, these seeds and nuts are covered with are the phytic acids. Phytic acids are the anti-nutrients. So when they get into the system, uh, they do not allow the absorption. It doesn't go well with the absorption when these anti-nutrients are in the systems. So that is another thing. Then sometimes certain seeds and nuts also have tannins. So tannins doesn't allow the absorption of iron in our body, right? So we have seen that this is the nature's way to protect, right? So just to recap quickly, there can be three to protect the seeds and nuts. It can be covered with phytic acids, it can have some tannins, and there are some enzyme inhibitors in these nuts and seeds. Now, I have told you that what happens when we eat these nuts and seeds, though we are eating it, but we are not getting the advantage of it, because these are getting, because of these anti-nutrients, these nuts and seeds are not, whatever they have, like we know the nuts and seeds are good in protein, amino acids, they have good essential fatty acids, right? So these things, because of these anti-nutrients, do not get absorbed into our body, right? And if we are eating something and it's not getting absorbed, it has no meaning. Okay, so that's why the best way to consume these nuts and seeds is to soak them. So most of the nuts and seed we should soak for 7 to 8 hours. So we know we generally do that, overnight. So that definitely gives 7 to 8 hours in the at the room temperature water, or sometimes you can put it in just lukewarm water, not the hot water, because if it is hot water, uh, it kills, some nutrients. So it should never be hot water. It should be lukewarm water. Now, the next thing is, now what happens when we soak these? So the first thing is, we know that a seed, when germinated, is, nutrient dense. It has the potential, it has the capability to grow into a plant or an entire tree. So it's really having a lot of nutritions. So when you soak these nuts and seeds overnight or for 7 to 8 hours, the germination starts, and what you are eating is having a lot of nutrients, and all these nutrients are bioavailable, and those are easy to absorb into our system. And once it gets absorbed, we get its benefits. Another thing is, the digestion is easy. So the entry nutrients we talked about, since those bind with our, there are enzyme inhibitors also. So what is the role of the enzymes in our body? So there are basically two types of enzymes in our body: digestive enzymes and metabolic enzymes. So digestive enzymes basically breaks down the food, and making it easy to digest, right? And metabolic enzymes, they are the catalyst for other processes going into our body. Now when enzyme inhibitors are present, it makes the digestion difficult. And sometimes people complain when they consume nuts and seeds कि मुझे तो gases हो जाती हैं, bloated feel करता है, अच्छा नहीं लगता है, बहुत ऐसे भारी भारी सा लगता है, right? So that's not because the nuts are not good or nuts are not meant for them. That is because we are not eating the nuts the way we should. And then it also, when you soak them, it also enhances the taste and texture also. Sometimes when you soak with almonds, we all know we eat soaked almonds, that the texture is good and the taste is really different, right? So with soaking, what happens when we soak these overnight, these phytic acids and the other things I told you, all these things moves towards the skin, and it gets dissolved into the water which we have soaked the nuts into. Now when it gets dissolved into the water, अभी और एक मिस्टेक हम लोग करते हैं कि कई बार जब हम लोग जैसे छोले भिगोए या राजमा भिगो, ऐसे जो अपने ग्रेन्स है वो अगर भिगोते हैं, तो कई बार हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उनको वॉश करके भिगोते हैं और फिर हम उसी पानी में उसको बॉईल कर लेते हैं. आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल डूइंग इट, एंड इवन I also used to do it, क्योंकि मैं सोचती थी कुछ तो उसमें अच्छा है जो पानी में आ जाता है रात भर सोक करने से, तो ये पानी फेंकना नहीं चाहिए. But that is wrong. The water which you are soaking your grains, nuts, seeds into, you should throw away that water because it contains the anti-nutrients. And that's why उन्हीं को निकालने के लिए हमने इनको पानी में भिगो के रखा है, राइट? तो वो सब वाटर में आ जाते हैं, तो वो वाटर को फेंक देना चाहिए, यूज नहीं करना चाहिए उस पानी को. और साथ ही साथ उनको एक बार सोक होने के बाद वो पानी ड्रेन आउट करके वी शुड वॉश देम वंस विद गुड वाटर बिफोर कंज्यूमिंग इट और बिफोर cooking those grains or pulses or legumes. So that is also one very important thing where many people go wrong. So from now on, do not cook in that water. Just drain out that water and wash the nuts, seeds or grains one more time properly, to make sure that those entry nutrients are washed away. So that's another thing. So now when we soak it, the germination starts, and the nutrients becomes bioavailable. So we get good nutrients. Now we have removed all the phytic acids, enzyme inhibitors, all those things. So the digestion is easy and absorption is good. So, sometimes we just focus on, are we eating healthy or not? Or सभी जो हमारा खाना है वो सब हेल्दी है कि नहीं, अच्छा है कि नहीं, इस खाने से ये मिल रहा है कि नहीं, वो मिल रहा है कि नहीं, इस सब के बारे में हम लोग बहुत बात करते हैं. लेकिन जो हमने खाया है, राइट, जो हम खा रहे हैं वो हमें कैसे खाना चाहिए, हाउ टू ईट इट, right, whether it gets digested properly or not, or and whether it gets absorbed properly or not, all these things are also very important. So eating, though you're eating healthy, but if you're not eating it the way you should, then again, it's not going to help you much, rather it may create some problems. So to just summarize it, nature protects nuts and seeds because they have the potential to grow into something big, that is the new plant or tree. And the way to protect is to cover it with certain anti-nutrients. Basically, those anti-nutrients are phytic acids, then we have tannins and enzyme inhibitors. So soaking helps us wipe out, wash off all those things. So remember to not to use that water, drain that water, wash the grains and nuts and seeds again, and then consume it. In case of almonds, we peel also because it comes to the skin, so we remove the skin. And with this, the digestion will be good, absorption will be good, and you will really, you will really be able to get the benefits out of what you are eating. So that's it from my side.